While motivation represents a powerful push, the why, towards reaching your goals, discipline helps you stay on track no matter the situation. Building a high level of motivation takes time, and it is a complex skill to master. But as always, you have to start somewhere. Here are 5 easy ways to successfully start your self-discipline journey and become the kind of person who reaches their financial goal. 1. Develop strong habits. Developing solid habits is the safest way to ensure you are on track with your self-discipline goals. Building a healthy routine will help you in ways you cannot imagine. The most important thing to consider is that healthy, solid habits create a process of automation in your mind. Simply put, your mind will benefit both from the new skills you are building through your routine and the free space gained through the automation process. Building a strong routine makes you less prone to overthinking or creating negative thoughts. You will always know what to do, and this fact alone will give a reassuring signal to your brain. Your mind is at ease, and now you can concentrate on the creative part of life. Note, you have to keep a flexible mindset. A dangerous part of creating solid habits is that you can be easily thrown off track if something happens to your daily routine. Maintaining a flexible mindset will reassure your brain that everything is under control and you don't need to panic. If your routine is interrupted or changed by circumstances for a day or two, you shouldn't worry about it. But reaching day 3 without re-establishing your routine could potentially harm your habits. Habits can easily be lost or replaced with bad ones if you don't stick to them for a long time. Key takeaway: building strong habits is the most important part of the self-discipline process, and it will inevitably push you toward realizing your goals. 2. Patience is key. Patience is a skill. To master it, you must carefully analyze your thoughts when you become impatient. When dealing with money and financial growth, waiting patiently is the most profitable thing you can do after making and acting on your plan. Being impatient will only harm your discipline. Feeling in such a way won't bring the results closer. Moreover, it can hurt your financial future more than you know. The first big danger is that you can make rushed financial decisions and bad investments, ultimately costing you time and money. The second big issue with impatience is that you can abandon your path toward financial freedom when you see that things are not moving fast enough. Usually the speed of things is just the opposite of fast. To practice your patience, the first step is to accept that waiting, repetitive, or tedious tasks are part of life. Note, try keeping a list of these tasks that test your patience. Once you finish them, you can cross them off your list. This action will provide a sense of accomplishment for your brain. Then your mind will work in your favor in finishing the tasks to get the same dopamine release as crossing the task off the list. Once you get better at having patience, you will have the power to wait while your money works comfortably for you. You will avoid rushed decisions. If you are impatient with your finances and money, the whole thing will have a bad outcome. Then, of course, you will blame your bad luck. But the only thing to blame is your impatience. I should know. I lost some good thousands of dollars on rushed decisions on stock and cryptocurrency trades because I was impatient to reach my financial goal of the year quickly. Because of that, I had to work double time and rethink my whole strategy to save some of the money I'd lost. Since then, I've mastered a little bit of patience. I learned that sometimes, if not often, the best approach is to wait patiently until the situation clears. Key takeaway: patience is the key to financial success. Patience is a great part of being self-disciplined. 3. Don't rely on willpower. Willpower alone won't be enough to master your discipline. Even though willpower, like patience, is a skill you can develop, it also has limitations. From my experience, willpower depends on many factors such as the time of day, the stress level, the mood you are in, etc. As we've discussed in another video, we have to concentrate only on the events and things we can control. You can see right from the start that we deal with many elements beyond our control when it comes to willpower. The best example I can think of is testing your willpower when you're on a diet. Most of us have been there. And as you may recall, sticking to your plan in the evening is much harder than keeping on track when you wake up. In the first part of the day, you may be tempted by sweets, junk food, and other snacks. You can easily resist the urge to snap and overeat. But in the evening, things start to get trickier. The probability of your overeating is much higher. So what happened? Your willpower has diminished throughout the day. This very lack of consistency makes the willpower skill unreliable. Note, if you force your willpower, you risk burning out. Even if you rely solely on your willpower and succeed for a while, it could negatively affect your body and mind. You can imagine willpower as a savings account. For every temptation you resist, you spend some of your willpower. Ultimately, when your budget is spent, you are at high risk of burning out and losing all the progress you have made. It is best to avoid temptations altogether. There's no need to spend your willpower budget if some situations can be avoided. The same principle of willpower can be applied to reaching your financial goals, as well as in the diet example. It is best to avoid situations where your spending habits could get out of control. Better to think of your financial goals, and don't risk putting your willpower to the test. Often your old habits will be stronger than your willpower. Key takeaway: willpower alone won't be enough to achieve sustainable growth. It is a mistake to rely solely on your willpower, no matter how strong. 4. Track your progress. It is essential to track your progress along the way. Discipline will be hard to maintain in a vacuum. To have the power to keep on going, you have to see precise work results. No matter how small, you should always cherish every progress you record. Note: to keep your enthusiasm high, you can give yourself small rewards for every bit of progress you've tracked. This will provide you with an extra boost in your motivation. This small step can be reaching your weekly savings goal, setting up a new stream of income, or even better understanding the economic environment. Every new lesson you learn and every new financial concept you understand represents a significant step toward reaching financial freedom. We are prone to think that success equals a life-changing moment. The truth is that success is built on small steps, one at a time. When you focus on the daily tasks you must do and forget about the big picture, you will get there before you even realize it. That said, looking back at your accomplishments and assessing your situation are essential. You may discover that you are already successful and don't even realize it. Key takeaway: the first step is always to track your progress. The second step is to consider every little step forward as a personal victory. 5. Become that person. A more complex way to reach high levels of self-discipline is to act like the person you want to be. You've got to figure out your definition of a successful person. Ask yourself the following questions. 1. How does a successful person act? 2. What kind of routine does a successful person have? 3. How disciplined is a successful person? And even more on-point questions like: 1. How does a successful person walk? 2. How does a successful person talk? 3. What does a successful person eat? After you have answered those questions, start acting like the person you want to become. At first it will seem silly, but remember that your brain is learning a new pattern and will eventually start acting accordingly. Note: if you find it challenging to create your persona, you can borrow those qualities you want for yourself from one or some of your heroes. They can be athletes, movie stars, relatives, or cartoon characters. There is no one stopping you from believing what you want about yourself. It is better to consider yourself a successful person than a failure. I know, easier said than done. You won't believe in yourself if you don't start reinforcing your belief through sustained action. But succeed once, succeed twice, succeed 10 times, and you will stop questioning whether you are a disciplined, successful person. You will know you are, and that's the power of acting as if. Think about it. Let's say you are a doctor or a lawyer. After practicing your trade for a long enough time, being a doctor or a lawyer becomes part of your personality and character. That happens because every day you, others, and the environment reinforce your belief that you are a doctor or a lawyer. The same applies to being successful. It is a matter of repetition, routine, and work. In the end, all roads lead to becoming that person. You need to identify yourself as disciplined to maintain a certain level of discipline. Key takeaway: becoming a disciplined and successful person becomes easy once you start the vicious cycle of believing that you are and perpetually reinforcing that belief through sustained action. Bonus tip: listen to classical music. Music has a substantial good or bad impact on our mindset. I learned that listening, especially to classical music, can help discipline your mind. Since welcoming Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, and many others into my life, my mind has become calmer and more productive. I maximize my productivity by listening to classical music whenever I write or work. Since I have never heard of anyone being hurt by listening to classical music, I recommend listening to this type of music as often as possible.